I'm Mrs. Nelson, and I teach American literature to juniors here at Denmark High School. And I have been nominated and honored to be nominated for the SIOP category of student interaction. And so I'm just going to share with you a little bit about what I do in my classroom. I teach both face-to-face and virtual students, and I'm just going to show you what I do to kind of encourage student interaction in both of those areas. So my number one thing that I do is I try to include introverts and people who don't feel comfortable speaking out loud in the classroom. I am married, I am a hardcore extrovert, but I am married to an introvert, and many times in conversation he doesn't want to speak because he doesn't necessarily want to insert himself, or he doesn't want to say something that's, puts people off. So I try to think about in my classroom, which is about communication, how do I get students who are reluctant to communicate to be a part of the classroom interaction? So I had a thing that I do that's called Tear and Shares, which was an anonymous free write where students wrote on a piece of paper and passed them in. Then COVID happened, and then I was concerned, like, how do I do that same kind of interaction in a classroom without students handing me papers and me touching things that I don't want to touch? So the solution came from this website, which is called polleverywhere.com. So I'm just gonna go there. It's free for teachers. You get 40 responses free. You'll have to sign up or log in, and actually I may have to do a quick login here. So the login is free. All you have to do is just give them your email. Pretty much that's all you need in order to do it. And then if mine, I'm gonna have it up here. So you can see I have a whole bunch of activities listed. But you can do a variety of things. If you were gonna do a new activity, you can do a multiple choice, a word cloud, you can do all kinds of stuff. For what I do for student interaction, mine are always open-ended, and I'm just going to give you some examples. So I take the literature that we're reading, and I just ask them a question about it. So one of the questions is, what do you predict will happen next in the play? And then students will give all their responses. So we were reading Gatsby, so one of the predictions was another affair. But students get to kind of type in their responses, and then I read all of the responses to class. And then I make comments on their commentary throughout. And that way every student gets to say something, but it's not attached to their name. So they don't get freaked out if nobody likes that answer or somebody disagrees, because nobody knows it's them. And this is a really great way just for people, and actually this is not Gatsby, this is The Crucible, but this is one of those things that kind of engages everyone in the classroom and allows every kid to have a voice, even if they don't feel comfortable using their voice in the classroom. Another thing that I've done to create student interaction this year, generally I like to have students moving and there's a lot of motion, and that hasn't really been possible this year. But I have still done stations. So when we did a certain unit, like on transcendentalism, I had 6 stations that I just doubled because the class, I split them in half. And we just had one station here, one station there. We just had 6 spread around the room. They were 6 feet apart, and then I had stations in the middle. And then I grouped students by pod. So the students who sit, those 3 people, they were going to be exposed to each other either way, no matter whether they were, quarantined or not. That was going to happen regardless. So I just grouped them in their little groups of 3, and then they went and stood by their station, and then we had a timer on the board, and when the time was up, then everybody just knew that they were all going to shuffle and move, and we still got some motion. They still got to do interaction with a very small group of people where they're talking about ideas together, and they're all still engaging with the content, and they got to move because we've been sitting a lot this year, which was really difficult for a lot of students. And that's another way that I've kind of tried to create an environment where students were able to talk and discuss the content without having to do a lot of things that break protocols that we have in place for COVID. Again, my name is Ashley Nelson. I'm in room 2624. If you have any questions, please feel free to stop by and come chat with me. And thank you so much for this nomination.